that character. It's just blank, emotionless. And that's exactly who Michael is. Just emotionless, blank.
You think it's when he puts the mask on is when he becomes the boogeyman? Do you
Because I am agoraphobe and you are not.
Right. Hey, what is up, man? Just got done checking out Halloween 1978. Probably my favorite film of all time, man. And I am jacked and ready for this discussion. What's going on? We're here with
Absolutely.
JTshorrordiscussions.
What's up, guys? Assumably, if you guys just watched our watch along, now we're here to discuss Halloween even further.
Yeah, break it down, man. I got a lot of things written down, different little points that I want to talk about all the way, basically from the beginning till about when Loomis notices the car parked there, and I think we can definitely, I mean, we can take it from there anyway. But just little points that I
Yeah.
want to bring up, man, all the way from the beginning. I can remember being a kid and seeing this, and as soon as the music started, it showed the Compass International and all that kind of stuff. Man, I was like
Yeah.
interested. Then I seen that pumpkin drawing closer, and as a kid, I had little pumpkin things I made and just different little things you have from Halloween, and I would turn off the lights and I'd have like a flashlight and I'd play Halloween with my GI Joe figures, and I'd have the
Yeah.
Halloween, I'd have it coming, and I'd pick one of them to be Michael Myers.
Yep.
Man, what's your history with Halloween? I mean, when did you first notice it, and when did you first realize you loved it?
Yeah. I saw it on Halloween night at 6 years old,
Oh,
and I remember looking at the TV guide and just seeing the name Halloween and saying like, "Hey, that's today," and then just like I had no clue what I was getting into, and it was the first horror movie I ever saw, and I vividly remember it. Just the music and just the look of Michael with the mask, and then just all the characters, especially Loomis with his dialogue and just how mysterious he is, and everything just sucked me in immediately. And that's the only reason I have a channel and that we're even here is because of that movie. Is because of this movie, Halloween.
same as that, man. And we're here celebrating it together, man. I've waited. Hell, we started talking about this what a couple of months ago, getting together and actually
Yep.
doing a watch of Halloween, and I think that was a pretty damn good watch along.
Oh
And
hell yeah, a lot of
man,
fun.
I mean, you can't get any better than two people who have passion for it like we do, man.
Yep.
And like you said, the mask they never quite got. There was a lot of Michael Myers, but they never quite got it the same vibe he had. The
No,
way
they
the
never
way he
got the
wore it on the
mask
sleeve.
right for me ever again after this. Like nothing that looks just like this mask in the very first movie. Like there's something about it. It just looks perfect, and then every one that they've tried after that just doesn't match it. It just doesn't look right. And it's something to do with like the cheeks over here, like on the
Mm-hmm.
mask. It's
Mm-hmm.
something to do with that part of like the mask that
The
just
way the yeah,
yeah, the way that
the
it's
lips.
molded, or and that they just never captured again, like the same way for me. There's a few that look all right,
Yeah.
but none
Tommy
that.
Wallace made it.
And Nick,
And he showed on YouTube. He has a thing on YouTube. You could type it up. I'm not sure, but I have it recorded on my list of great films or something like that, where it shows him for 15 minutes. He gets a William Shatner mask just like it, and he cuts out the eyes, he cuts down the hair, and sprays it with everything.
yeah,
He does everything exactly like he did then, and makes a new one that looks just like it. And it was
yeah,
really awesome to see.
that's that's what I always wondered. Like I'm sure Carpenter thought of the idea that this could once, especially after it like a few weeks in theaters, that this movie was blowing up, that there would be a possibility of a sequel. It's like I would have just called up that same company who made that exact William Shatner mask and say, "All right, we want to buy like 1,000 of them."
Mm-hmm.
It's a drop in the bucket compared to what the money that they were making from the movie. That way, if there's ever a sequel, which look how it is now, how many sequels we got, they would have had 1,000 of those things that they could just paint them white and it would look exactly the same.
Well,
And I never understood why they didn't do that.
Well, the one in Halloween 2 actually is the same mask. It had just
Yeah,
been
but
sitting
it's still
around for a
just
long time.
it just
It got
doesn't look
yellow
it right.
because she was a heavy smoker, Debra Hill was, and it had been underneath her bed at her house.
Yeah,
So with everything we went through in this movie, and then all the yellow cigarette smoke, and then Nick Castle had kept it in his back pocket throughout shooting and all that kind of stuff. So you've got
it's just a lot of wear and tear on it, which is like it doesn't look bad in two. It still doesn't look like this movie. Like it just doesn't.
And then after that, they lost it. No. Dick Warlock. They gave it to Dick Warlock because they didn't expect that they were ever going to be making it. And Dick was
because they blew up Michael, and at the end of two blew him up. They figured that they were done with him.
All the way from the first shot of this is they said he said he was inspired by what is it from Morrison World? Touch of Evil. The way it pans down and it's got that one continuous shot, just like on Touch of Evil. And that's one thing I noticed, even as a little kid, I noticed because you can tell cuts. See, people think little kids are dumb, but little kids notice a lot more than what people think. And you can tell that one continuous shot, man. There has been theories out there that talk about how, especially if you read the comics and all this different kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of curious how you feel about it. Talk about how the part of the problem was what started leaning him toward that idea was the fact that him and his sister had always been really close when he was little. But then when he started hearing voices or something, he started, changing. She got a boyfriend finally. She was finally old enough to get a boyfriend. And that separation of the two is what caused him to lean into these forces or whatever it was and end up killing her and stabbing her. Somewhat basically they're saying
kind of like someone stepped in between their relationship. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And there's probably a million different ways that you can go with that of like why Michael did it. But then like we were saying in the watch along, like just I like it better with the mystery to it. Like there's no reason why. Like he just decided to pick that knife up. He decided to put on that mask and he decided to stab and kill his sister. And there's no reason. Like and then it's pretty much the same exact thing until we got Halloween 2 with the brother sister thing. But same thing with Laurie's situation. Stuff, no reason, no motive, just she catches his eye. And then we don't know his motives. And I just like it a lot more that way. Same with the thing, like how we never find out exactly what it is, or
who it is at the end.
Or who it is at the end, or like they theorize it could be like it could have taken over a million different life forms on a million different planets and stuff. But that's it. They just theorize about it. We don't know where it's from, what it does, what its true form is, and I like all those questions.
Carpenters that there's two different things. That there's one that's taking over Bennings at that time, then there's one that's taking over the dog at the same time. They theorize there's two different things, and that makes sense because
that is an interesting theory.
It can be taking over Childs and McCready at the same time. They're both the thing, and they both know they're the thing.
Yeah. I did that the thing revisited video, and I went a lot into the path of the thing, like who gets taken over first, and then who like gets taken over next, and pretty much was close to what you were just saying,
Yeah.
like with endings and everything like that. But that's like all those questions. I love that fact that they leave them open like that. And
You got
Carpenter's
to.
just a master with that, and he does this in Halloween, and it's just that's the way I that's what I love about Michael Myers' character. Is
But
that
everything has to have a fucking reason. Why do you do it?
yeah,
Because he's the boogeyman. That's why he's
yeah,
a shit.
exactly, and that's like what we said too, that they're purposely calling
Yeah.
him the boogeyman in the movie. It's supposed to be the boogeyman, like
There's like Carpenter refers
not
to him
have a
in
sis,
the script.
not have the boogeyman sister, and
Yeah.
that's why the
Which
boogeyman's after her. Like, no, it's because it's the boogeyman, and he has no reason. It's just there.
shape
It's evil.
boogeyman,
Like it works so much better.
same thing. Shape boogeyman.
Yeah.
Carpenter called him the shape simply because
Yep.
because, and I loved his reasoning because he's the shape of a man, but not a man. He never refers to him as a man.
Yep.
He's always the shape. He's always and I love that, the shape of the man, but not a man. I have a thing that I
Yeah.
I
No,
wrote
it's
down
great.
I have an early Halloween video where I talked about how he's the shape of a man, but not a man.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's such a great idea, and just the idea to use the mask, and then like they had the choice between the clown mask, and I mean, when you think of it, the clown mask could have been creepy, but it's just like it's hard to think what it could have been with that when we're so used to the masks that we have. You know what I mean? But like, what a great choice to just take a William Shatner mask and just paint it completely white just to reflect that character. It's just blank, emotionless. And that's exactly who Michael is. Just emotionless, blank.
You think it's when he puts the mask on is when he becomes the boogeyman? Do you think like that's what he wants? Do you think maybe like without the mask, he's not exactly that's why he put that clown mask on before he stabbed his sister, just to have that switch to become the boogeyman completely?
I would that's I kind of lean towards that. That maybe he like because he feels he has to put on the mask to become like the boogeyman or to become that person, to become that force of evil. Because we don't see Michael ever, is right. If I can recall, kill somebody without his mask on, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he does at the hospital to escape, but I think to truly become the shape, he has to have. And when he found that mask, man.
Yeah, it's just that's another good thing idea you just brought up. It's like how Michael was drawn to that mask particularly,
because
like in the movie itself. Like what made him like see that white mask and say that's the mask I want to wear, or was it just a random choice? Did he just pick that mask at the hardware store, and that was just the one he picked up, and that was it?
There he is. He was going to reach for a clown mask because because that it took him back. That's what he used to have before. But then he seen that mask and said, "No, this is blank. This is how I feel. This is who I am."
Yeah, it seems like that's what that he identifies with that mask, and that's just such another great little detail thrown in there. Then they don't even have to say anything about it. It's just visual storytelling. It's just them showing that, and then you can deduce that just from the shots of him seeing that mask and grabbing it and picking that one.
He sent Tommy Wallace out to get masks when they were making it, and when he went and got it, he brought back like 3 masks. One was like, I can't remember, it was of somebody. There was another really creepy, scary clown mask that they thought might work because it would be like a continuation of the one when he was a kid. But then he come in wearing the one that he had sprayed and took the eyebrows off of and made the eyes a little bigger.
Yeah, and they said that's it.
He said it sent a chill up and down their spine when he came out with that look on.
And then and Carpenter, if I recall, he just said that's it. Like
he said, "Ooh," he said,
that's the mask.
Through the room.
I couldn't think of a better mask for Michael. Like it's just because of how it is a metaphor for who he is and how he feels inside and stuff. It
Yeah.
just works perfectly. On top of that, being just creepy.
Yeah.
Especially with like some of the perfect lighting in this movie that just reflects off the mask, and like the one with him on the phone after he strangles Linda,
Yeah.
with the blue lighting coming in on, like, that looks fantastic, and him coming out of the doorway, which we were saying is one of our favorite shots in the movie. And so when you can, right before he stabs Laurie, and you see the white mask coming through the darkness, like all of that is just fantastic.
Because of like it's his face, you know what I mean? That's actually
Yeah.
his face. We don't want to see
Yep.
a face. Like I was a little actually that is one thing that if I could change something in this movie, it would be being able to see his face.
When they take, yeah, when she takes it off
I
quick.
don't want to see his face. That's his face.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that's when he, I guess, is the shape, like fully in his
Fully
mind.
became the shape. Yeah. We meet Loomis, of course, and Loomis immediately comes off like he's some kind of asshole, and you don't know why, but then you figure it out. It's because he's tense as fuck. He's scared. He's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
get Michael Myers to take him to a court hearing because she says, "Why are we taking him? Because it's a law. He has to. He has no choice." Then they get there, find out that everybody's busted loose. Which is we thought was a really creepy part. They're all running around their hospital.
Yeah,
Just
love
kind
those
of wondering.
shots.
They weren't
The
even trying to get
mental
away.
patients.
They were
Yeah, they're just
wandering
roaming around, and it's so creepy the way that it's shot, and the lighting and stuff. That it looks so good. And then the open palm from Michael on the car, and shattering the window. Like I said in the watch along, that scared the shit out of me. Like when I first saw this movie, because it's a creepy shot. Like, and she's freaking out, and
Of course she
it's
was.
just such
She was going down the window.
a
She
great
went out the
sequence.
window and be like, "All right, now get together now. Get off the car. Now you know the rules." And
Yep.
then, oh shit, get out of my hair. And she gets over there.
Yep, she did not expect that at all. And then, I mean, that's the first time that like someone sees that Loomis is right. Like in the stuff he's saying, Michael's not just a regular mental patient.
She thought she could talk him down. Now, did you know when you first time you seen him even as a kid? Did you know when you see that part where he goes that music and he comes up the back of the car?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that was Michael Myers?
The first time I saw the movie, no.
When you first get the idea, when Loomis is screaming, he's gone from here, the evil's gone.
Yeah, then, yeah. Pretty much right after the shot with him breaking the window and stuff is when, like, and I mean, this is so hard to remember if that's 6 years old, but that's pretty much when I realized that this is the guy that he's talking about, and that this is going to be like the killer in the movie, because I knew it was about a killer, and that's all I knew it was about. Like, I didn't know anything about this movie when I first saw it.
I think people try to break this movie down way too much. How is he able to drive? How does he know this? How does he do that?
Wow, yeah, I know.
That's besides the point. The point is he's the boogeyman. How do you explain anything the boogeyman does?
Yeah,
you know,
like and then they even tried to explain the driving thing later on in 6, that Dr. Wynn taught him how to drive while he was there.
And shit, and he watched him drive. He watched him closely how to do it.
Yeah. Like, so I mean, but it's in a movie like that, a movie like this, that it's just perfect filmmaking in every way. Those things don't matter to me, and like, that I love pointing out those things in movies, like things that make no sense and what the fuck is this type of stupidity. But like, it depends on the movie, and like if it's a movie like this, that the story is perfect, the directing is perfect, that it's so tense, the atmosphere is off the charts the entire movie, the acting is great, the music is the greatest score of all time in a film, like, you forgive those things. Like, it doesn't matter how he learned how to drive. Like, who gives a shit? Like, it does not matter to me.
I watched people drive for 15 years, and still the first time I got behind the fucking wheel and threw it in gear, I was still like, you know what I mean? That's what happened when you first started.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if you'd have seen Michael going, I mean, that would look, number one, goofy, and number two, he doesn't do that. Why? Anybody else would have. He never drove before. Watching somebody drive doesn't teach you how to fucking drive.
Oh, absolutely.
you know.
But it,
So
like,
he
yeah,
just
like we said, like in a movie like this, it doesn't matter because it's just how everything's handled. Like, and like we were saying, like with just how you could see Michael's car throughout the first half of this movie, like
yeah,
all over town and all different shots, just to make him the threat's always there. That
yeah,
Michael's always there at some part of the frame. Like it's so well done in
yeah.
this movie with that to make you always
Even
feel uneasy that like at any moment Michael could, that he's there and that he could strike at any moment.
and Deborah Hill Deborah Hill made us love the characters a lot too. That's important too. You got to.
Oh yeah.
This movie is so great of loving Michael and loving the girls too. She does a great job of making us like the girls and making them feel natural and like they're just regular girls.
Absolutely.
Like as soon as you see Lori, it's a completely different Lori than you get in 2018. I know she went through a lot, but not enough to lose her kids through CPS and all that shit. The girl that
Yeah.
the Lori that we knew in the original Halloween was far too strong of a person to let one night, and no matter how bad it was, ruin her entire life.
Yep.
Um,
No, because she's strong as shit. I mean, that's why
oh yes,
look at any list of greatest final girls or survivor girls. I know you call them. Every one, she's number one. Like if not top three, at
she's
least.
so
Like
she's
Laurie
so
Strode.
lovable.
Yeah,
I love
Laurie
her.
Strode is the number one final girl. I mean,
I
she's
sent her a
just
fan letter when I was a
yeah.
kid. When I was about
Oh
8 years old, and I didn't know where to send it, so I just seen from the beginning of the movie. Of course, it ended up getting returned to sender. It never got to her.
yeah,
But I loved her so much, man. When I was 8
yeah.
years old. I
See,
still
how
talk
do
to
you
her.
not love Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie? Like she's just Laurie's character is just she's just so like she's like
She's like,
every
oh,
girl USA. Like she's just like your average girl, and she's sweet and she's caring, and and that makes it even more horrific that with everything that starts happening to her. Because you
even
don't want
Amy.
these things happening to her. You don't like this creepy ass guy, Michael, watching her and stalking her and her friends, and then it makes you root for her.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely kind of want to get into the stalking. This movie is 90% stalking. Like he watches for
Yep.
hours and kills for minutes. Um,
Hmm.
not even very many minutes, but he watches so much, and he from the very beginning when he first sees her, he follows her, and what tells you that she is the intended target to begin with, and that he noticed her really strong is the fact that he not only follows her, but he follows Tommy too, because she reminds him
Yep.
of Judith, and he reminds him of him. Like when he's watching,
Yep.
he's not meaning no harm. He's just saying he's trying to figure this kid out. He even pulled up beside him just to look at him for a minute when he's driving. So she is definitely the original intended target. And then you get
Yeah.
into the other girls. You like them too. Annie's feisty. She's mean. She's the kind of be like, fuck you then. Hit them
Yeah.
up.
I love
You know,
Annie. She's always been my favorite out of the three girls.
my favorite's Linda.
Yeah.
Because like I said, that brick stone fucking pillar they walk by is smarter than fucking Linda. But but it's so cute about her, and it's appealing. Not just a sexual way, but
Oh
you know what I
yeah.
mean. But just as in
Yeah. It
anybody
makes you
that
care about
dumb
these characters.
anybody that dumb and happy, you gotta like. You know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
so happy to be dumb. She doesn't care. Oh, it don't matter. I forgot my math book, my science book, and I let's see my French book. Oh, who needs books anyway? I don't need books. Why would you
Yeah.
go?
Yeah. No,
You know,
she's just a fun time, and like the way that they like Deborah Hill especially like wrote these characters. You care about them, like every one of them.
yes.
Maybe not so much Bob, but like the three girls, like you care
You don't
about
even
them,
hate
and
Bob.
the
You feel
kids
sorry for
too.
Bob. You feel
Yeah,
sorry for Bob because Bob
and
can't
the same.
handle it. He's
Yeah,
getting him some die, and then he finally gets in where he's supposed to be for a couple seconds.
yeah, and then it's done like almost as quick as the opening sex with Judith.
But I mean, he'd been rubbing that thigh for who knows how long. So I mean, I guess you can't be too mad at him. He'd been at that thigh
Yeah,
like a
no,
motherfucker.
she says it's fantastic and lights up a cigarette. So she enjoyed it. She enjoyed it somehow.
I just think that he was the only one she'd ever been with, and that's what she knew. And it's one of those things that
Yeah, that's likely.
if she would have lived to get to the next boyfriend, she would have been realizing how much Bob didn't have going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just having funny like images in my head about that.
Of her going, damn.
Yeah,
That's what it's supposed
fuck
to be like,
Bob.
right?
Yeah, what the fuck was? What was I
I love
thinking
you,
with
Bob.
Bob?
You're okay, but no way. We're never getting back
Yeah,
together.
if she survived, like she would have been like R.I.P. Bob. But like, man, you didn't know much.
He used to go with Bob. Yeah, he was a sweetheart. He loved me.
that and it was cool that whole the whole scene with her and how when we were talking in the watch along about how it goes from her being
Oh, God.
playful with the sheet over Michael
Bob,
to
Ghost Bob.
just seeing the fear on her, and when
Yes.
you could see it right in her eyes and in her dialogue and stuff of when it turns to her being okay, something's wrong, I'm afraid now.
That
And
shows
like the way
great
she
acting.
portrays that is great. Yeah, the way she portrays all of that is really good. Like it's a
When
good
she comes
performance.
down, just like the scene, that's what the scene right here is. Is see thing
Yep,
you like? When she does the see thing you like, she does everything, blah, 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 blah. Cuts a joke. And she's thinking, Bob
yep,
usually laughs at my goofy jokes. Okay, let's try this. You see thing you like?
yep,
Still nothing. Well, did you bring me my beer? Still nothing. And then you see the eyes get wide.
yep. And that
And
was
she's
and
such a great
right at the
actress when
beer
you
line.
see the fear. It's almost like she let that part scare her. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
almost like
like
the actress let
right
that
at the
part.
beer line when she says, "Are you going to give me my beer?" and stuff. That's when her eyes light up like that, and it start. You could see that that's when she's starting to panic,
She got
and
into
she
that
does
moment.
great. She does such a good job with that scene.
I think she got into that moment and actually got creeped by it.
Yeah,
And
I mean, her
but the character at that point is thinking,
performance is really, really good.
you know, at that point the character's thinking, man, this motherfucker, this don't feel right. I'm getting creeped out. I'm gonna separate myself from the situation and I'm gonna go
Yeah,
call Lori because I've had enough of this. Maybe while I'm doing this, he'll take that fucking sheet off and stop fucking around.
exactly. And unfortunately, that's not what happens
Yeah,
for her.
yeah.
But yeah, she kills it in that scene. Like that's her best acting in the movie.
Oh man.
Like right there. Like that scene right there is Linda's in
Yeah, and she got that from her
PJ's
scene
acting.
from what she played Norma in Carrie. That's why Carpenter wanted her because because he's
Yeah,
seen that
yep,
she could play the bubbly, goofy shit, and he figured if I take the bitch out of her and just leave the bubbly, goofy,
yeah,
dumb shit part in her, I could have a good part
yeah,
here
yeah.
because but Carrie, that's a whole other subject that I love that film too. But
Oh yeah, Carrie's great.
yeah, man. But by then she had learned not to wear her red hat to the yeah, she decided because she wore that red hat, and then De Palma made her wear it throughout the film, even in the prom, which was goofy as
Yeah,
fuck. But by then
yeah,
she said
no, for
she had
sure.
decided she wasn't going to wear the red hat to try out for shit anymore. But she didn't even have to try out for Halloween. She was already,
Yeah,
and so was Nancy Loomis or Nancy Keys. Of course, because she was with Tommy Wallace. And you were saying that Annie was your favorite.
yeah. I love Annie. I've just always
She's
loved her
favorite too.
always loved her personality in this movie.
Now, where
Like,
it switches when she yells that shit at him, I think whether she was supposed to hear it or not, or where she would have heard it or not, I think she's supposed to have. He was supposed to have heard her say that, which is
yeah,
what got him interested in her, and that's when he starts following her, and that's where a lot of people start talking about how she was the intended target. Well, she became the target after that because he liked her. He felt something from her that he never experienced anything like her before.
yeah.
Um, he was more of the quieter, more reserved. You watch Lori, you can tell she's quiet and reserved. Michael's a good people watcher. Um,
Oh yeah.
so
That's
then
his
he got
whole thing
interested in her.
is his stalking and watching and being a voyeur. Like that's what he does. That's what he apparently that's the only thing that like he lives for. Like that's his thing.
Stalk first, kill second. Yeah, he wants
Yeah.
to watch. He wants to freak you out. He wants to play games. He
Hmm.
wants to sit around. Like for instance, with the car being locked, she knew. Like I said, she knew she left that Monte Carlo unlocked. That's why
Oh
she
yeah.
walked straight to it and went to open it. And she's like, "Oh shit, maybe I did lock it this time. Let me go in and get the keys." No, he was in it at that time.
Yep.
That's why when she comes back and her instincts immediately is to flick it open again, which is everybody else's, because she knew before she'd unlocked it and hadn't thought about the fact that it was just locked. So she went back, clicked it, and it opens right up and she gets in. That's why she goes,
Yep. And like,
"No,
wait a
why is
minute.
it just
And
opening?"
then
And number two,
and then
why
right then is where it's too late.
yeah, right
And
then,
the
why is it all fogged up in here? I ain't been in here. She don't get a chance
and
to
and
figure
that's
it out.
what adds so much tension to that whole scene too, is that fact that we know what she knows. We know that the car was locked. So like when she gets that revelation, it was like, well, wait a minute, and stuff like we are saying the same thing. We're like, no, wait a minute, no, like all right, he's in there. We know he's in there. And then when he finally pops out at her and kills her, it's just like that's the tension just finally erupting. And the way Carpenter just builds tension, and not just this movie, but all his films, is just like second to none.
He wanted to make sure she was going to stay in that car long enough for him to attack her. If she'd have gotten in the
Yeah,
car and forgot her keys and had to get right back out, she would have got in, slammed the door, and said, "Oh, she forgot the keys," and got right back out.
yeah, yep,
That way, with him locking it, he was making sure she was going to bring the keys with her and be in there long enough for him to get.
yep.
That's the way I kind of deducted.
No, yeah, that makes sense because Michael is calculating like that, and he does like to play games, like you said. Like he does like fucking with people
You
while
think
he
when he pulls
stalks
in,
and watches them.
you think when he's stalking her and watching her change her clothes, she spills that butter on him, and he pulls down the plant and breaks it. Do you think he's wanting her to come out right then, or do you think he's just wanting to fuck with her a little bit?
Yeah, if he
Either
was
way,
trying to get her out, like we said, it failed. If he like to try to get her out there, but I'm sure if maybe if he was trying to lure her out, like right then and there, and it didn't work, he probably just said, "All right, what then?
I'll just
All right, it's
also,
still messing with her." Yeah,
yeah,
like
I'll
it's
just,
still
yeah,
messing with her, and I'll
oh,
just get her. I'll get her soon,
oh,
like, and
yeah,
I'll keep messing with her. So, like, if anything, he can use anything to his advantage to scare the people that he's stalking, and then
yeah.
eventually kills.
Like I was saying, in the book, it describes how he has, for the first time ever, he has like almost he's attraction to her. That's why he starts watching and following her. He almost gets a sexual feeling from her. He doesn't know what it is. He just
Yeah,
knows it's different than he's felt before. Especially when she's running around there just in that long shirt, and he changes her,
yeah,
sees her in her panties, and then sees her go out to the laundry and bend over, and her ass is sticking out here. And he could have killed her
yeah,
then.
yeah.
What's different about this one also than the other Halloween movies is the first chance he gets in the other ones, he kills.
Oh,
In
yeah,
this movie, he
exactly.
has
This
many
is,
chances.
and he's because this is the character that they wrote originally, and this is why we love this Michael Myers, is because he does watch, he does stalk, he does do this. In the later movies, he just pops out and kills
Just
you,
another
then he moves
slasher.
on to the next one. Like,
This
yeah,
this is the only one that's
exactly.
not
It
a
turns
slasher.
into just your run of the mill slasher formula. No, the Halloween to we've said neither of us consider it slasher film.
Yep. This one isn't.
Like it's
I
so
don't
much more
consider
than
it
that.
Psycho. I don't consider Psycho, Chainsaw Massacre,
Nope, I don't. Psycho
Halloween,
isn't
Black
either.
Christmas.
Yep.
They're on another level,
No,
man.
none of
They
those
really
because they don't have the body. They don't have their. That's one thing is that they're much better films than just a regular slasher movie in any way. And
yeah.
like I mean, Psycho it's the body count. Like for me, a slasher film, you have to have like a high body count and like a lot of kills
Halloween's
and
like
stuff. Psycho has two kills in it. Like, I mean, Halloween is
four.
what three, four with the Judith. So yeah, I mean, there's nowhere near like Friday the 13th, and then like after Friday the 13th, that's when like the slasher craze really went crazy, and then it was the more bodies, the better. The more deaths you can get into a slasher, the better. That's what I think of when I think of slasher movies. Like when this isn't a slasher to me. This is just a perfect movie.
That's why Tommy Lee Wallace didn't direct Halloween 2, is because he was wanting he read the script and he didn't like it because it was following that slasher formula. There was too
Yeah.
much blood.
Yep.
There was just too much gore. Instead of going with the suspense and shit like the original, it
Yep.
Carpenter got a little worried. That's what happened. Because by '81, when they made Halloween 2, there'd been a lot of the slasher movie thing had started and the body count went up.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Tony Wallace turned it down, and Rick Rosenthal took it over because he turned it down because he didn't like that, because it didn't feel like the original Halloween.
Yeah, and I agree with him for the most part.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's see. Now, when he does kill Annie, it also states how he feels. It's like he feels a big load off. He feels better for the moment, and he's
Mm,
getting ready to set up Annie until he hears Bob and Linda come in,
yeah,
and then that kind of kicks it all back in. Especially when he sees them making out and making love and whatever it is they're doing there,
yeah,
all that kind of shit. Oh man. We already discussed the Ghost Bob thing. I think that is one of the most. That is something that I never hear anybody talk about. Is how when Linda realizes that the situation's gotten a little more serious, when like she still feels like it's probably Bob. Like she doesn't imagine it's a killer under there.
yeah,
And I love how I love the touch of him putting the glasses on the
yeah.
window.
No, I know. It makes you almost think that he has a sense of humor,
What a
like
motherfucker!
Michael a little
Yeah.
bit. Like he's like why put the glasses on over the sheet? Like I guess just because
I said, "Where's my
Bob
beard?"
had
And he's like,
glasses,
"What?"
he killed him, so he took his glasses. Like it's funny, it's creepy and funny at the same time because it makes you wonder, like if this person, if Michael has no emotion
He's having
and
fun.
he's pure evil and stuff, then like why does he seem like he has a sense of humor? Like to throw those
Because
glasses on. It's an
he's
interesting
having a good
conclusion.
time with it. He is having a good time. Just
Yeah,
because you're a boogeyman doesn't mean you couldn't
yeah.
have
It's
fun
it's
too.
it's a very yeah, exactly. It's a very interesting decision that they did to throw that in. And I'm so happy they did because I love that. I love that he put his glasses over that sheet.
Yeah, because otherwise she'd have been like, "Who the fuck is that?" Well, with him with those glasses on, she was like, "Oh, Bob." And it must have kind of seemed like something Bob would do, mixed with it being Halloween. She
Yeah,
just threw
and
it on the
also
Bob. Real
because
cute.
like you said, she's not no one's expecting it to be she's not thinking somebody killed Bob and is wearing his glasses.
Because I am agoraphobe and you are not.